Proximity is power, but I will add into that. Now proximity, it's available in so many other ways, which is awesome. And knowledge is power, and now we all have all the knowledge. With AI, there is so much that is available to us. All of our IQs have just gone up if we can use AI.
Hello and welcome back to the Beauty Industry Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Kennedy. Today's guest is MG, your rebel with a cause marketing mentor who's rewriting the rules of business with brains, bots, and a whole lot of bold. She's built 6 businesses in 7 years, mentored over 1,000 women, and authored not 1, but 2 best-selling books, Uncertain to Unstoppable and Try and Stop Her. A former teacher turned tech-savvy strategist, Em blends messaging mastery with AI-fueled marketing. Whether she's crafting high-converting content or building out a custom GPT, she's all in and all about helping powerhouse women automate, scale, and show up loud. She's also a mum of 2, a manifesting generator, and self-proclaimed ADHD-fueled chaos queen who somehow makes it all look so effortless. Today we're talking AI versus VAs, custom GPTs, the rules of trust, content, and what sells, and how to actually stand out in a world where AI content is everywhere. Em, welcome to the show. How are you feeling today?
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And what an intro. I'm like, damn, I've got to stand up to something right now. Like, woo, let's go.
You know, as I was putting it all together, I was like, you definitely have ADHD, like 6 businesses in 7 years. That says it all.
Yeah, okay. And that's like just my business career. Go behind the scenes before all of that. And it's like, I've lived many lives.
But I love that. You know, I think to be a mentor, a coach, or someone in that education space, you got to be interesting. You got to have experience. And if you kind of sit in your room and you just wait for opportunity, it's never going to come. So
Absolutely.
You've gone out and created them.
Those experiences have created the chaos that sits in front of you today.
It's just all healing trauma and process.
It is. Oh, we're already talking about trauma. Let's go. This is exciting.
So I've started doing episodes a different way with my guests. Basically, instead of doing the whole spiel of like, where did you start and how did you get to where you are today, I'm going to ask you 10 questions to get to know you, MG, as the person.
Oh, this is fun.
Okay, first question. What's the first app you open in the morning?
Oh, WhatsApp.
Really?
Yes, because in the morning, Kim and I go for a walk. We've already been talking about my lover, Kim. And so, or we go for a walk or we go to the gym. And so she's awake really early and I'm not. So she waits for my message.
Oh, wow.
It's very cute. She waits for my message. So WhatsApp.
Why WhatsApp over iMessage?
I don't have an iPhone.
Oh, no. I should have put that in the question, Apple or Samsung.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a debate. Like, I'm actually tempted to move across.
Oh, do you know Elon Musk is bringing out his own new phone?
Oh, gosh. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah. No, I didn't. We should have a tally of how many rabbit holes we've gone down already.
Okay, all right, let's stop. Okay. So do you prefer reading or listening to audiobooks?
Reading.
What were you doing before AI?
Marketing.
What's your go-to date night spot?
Ooh.
Haven't been on a date in a while?
I actually, that's really sad. I'm going to say sunset at the beach.
That's wholesome. I love that. What's the worst business advice you ever followed?
Only do one thing. Stick to one thing and it will succeed. I get way too bored with one thing, so it won't succeed.
If you could spend 1 hour with anyone in the world, who would you choose and why?
Elon Musk. Why? Because I'm undecided on my thoughts about him, and I think the only way you can really get to know someone is in person, and I think he's fascinating. He may not be human, but he's fascinating.
100%. Imagine just like spending a day just following him around, like the guy that did his autobiography. Imagine what you would be exposed to, the meetings, the conversations, the people, how his whole family situation works. It would just be wild.
It would be, yes. It's not normal, and that's why I'm interested.
Who has been the most influential person in your life?
Truthfully, probably my mum.
Aww.
And I mean, that, goes in both directions. Like there's things that have influenced me in ways that I'm like, God damn it, Mum. And other ways where I'm like, actually, you know what? I am an independent and capable and confident woman because of her. So
it makes sense, right, though? Like obviously everyone has different situations growing up, but if you've got that parental figure, they're there for you most of your life. You're going to spend the most time in those early days shaping you. What's something that she taught you or instilled in you that's important for you today?
Mostly about independence, which is two sides to a coin, right? Like she really wanted me, no matter what, to be financially independent, to be independent of needing help from others. I mean, I grew up in a low socioeconomic area, so a lot of people needing government assistance. And so she didn't want that for me. And she instilled that. But at the same time, now I'm almost so independent that I don't ask for help. So it's kind of like, but I'm aware of that now.
Do you find it hard in relationships to open up because you become this like really hyper independent woman?
Yeah. Yes.
It's a real thing, hey?
It is a real thing. But it also has helped me succeed in business.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. Like I'll take the good with the bad because I like the good and I can work with the bad.
I think the other thing is when you're in those kind of relationships, if you aren't with someone who is also masculine or able to be that alpha, you overcompensate for them. And then it just becomes this like resistance towards them. You don't want to let your walls down. You don't want to let your guard down because
100%.
You're having to level up. So finding that other person who's like the alpha or can help you step out of the masculine and back into your feminine is huge.
Yeah, that's like a full work in progress.
Therapy session number 28. We are talking about it on the podcast now.
Yes. Yes, we are.
What's your superpower as an entrepreneur?
My ability to combine logic and creativity. Most people are one or the other. I combine them both and it can be absolute chaos, but I can see things in a linear way and then I bring in like a roller coaster and fuck up the linear way and then bring it back to linear.
The MG way.
The MG way.
What's your favourite TV show of all time?
Oh, see, I don't really watch TV. It's so interesting. Like,
really?
No, I don't. I don't watch TV. And I'm like, what did I used to binge? Oh my God. Okay. So when I was,
Did you watch like documentaries or something?
No, like if I do watch something, I want to watch something dumb, but I don't like reality TV. Like I'm not watching maths. Get fucked. Never watching that. Pretty Little Liars.
Oh,
Back in the day when I was breastfeeding and up at stupid amounts of the night, I would be watching Pretty Little Liars. I can still remember like the tune of
Got a secret.
Yeah, there we go.
Keep it?
Yeah, it's like lives in my head.
I feel like it's really interesting because I don't know about you with the whole ADHD thing, but for me, when I go to restaurants, I find one thing I really like and then I'll just keep going back for that one thing. And then when they take it off the menu, I freak out.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with like shows. I'm pretty sure I'm watching Game of Thrones for the 4th or 5th time in my life right now. And I'm like, is it because I like knowing what's going to happen or is it just such a good damn show that I just want to keep watching it? I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. I'm the same with books. Like I have particular books that I've read and read and read again and then I'll start a new book and I'm like, no, I can't read it. And I go back to a book I've read 5 times.
What is one of those books for you?
Okay, so this is one that a lot of people didn't know about. I found it in Vietnam actually on a backpacker bookshelf like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And back then it was called Heart of the Amazon by Yossi Ginsberg. And it like was this tatty old book. And it's a true story about this guy who gets lost in the Amazon. All of his friends die. They think he's disappeared. He survives and it's his story of survival. They then made a movie about it like 2 years ago. I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head right now, but like go Google it if you want to. And then they've relaunched the book and then it went big.
Wow.
Whereas 20 years ago, it was just like this scrappy little book in Vietnam. And yeah, and I've read that so many times. And when it came out as a movie, the guy from, oh my God, I'm so bad with the names of actors, but it's a really famous actor that was the main character. So just go look it up. I can't remember.
Like Tom Cruise, Leo, like what are we talking about?
Younger. Like I'm going to go with.
Like Timothy Chalamet?
I don't even know who that is. I'm so bad with names. Like I don't even know.
Okay.
I've got his
young
face in my head.
Actor.
He wasn't that hot.
Young,
Not that hot.
ugly actor. No.
In between, like a 5 out of 10.
Young, average male actor.
He was he in Lord of the Rings? Or was he like I don't know. Now you guys are going to look it up and be like, how do you not know his name?
Oh, well.
I just don't.
It's fine. It's fine. Move on to the next question. It's all right. We'll recover. The last question, number 10. What is the one thing that you're most proud of achieving in your life so far or just doing?
The one thing would be choosing to live my life differently to everybody else, despite what people think, because I've done that since forever. And despite the fact that there's times I look back and I go, oh, should I have done this way? And, oh, what do people think? When I meet people for the first time, and it would be the same for you because I think the same about you, is that you've done so much in a short amount of time, right? And I am obviously older than you, but I talk to some people the same age as me and I'm like, you've not lived.
Yeah.
Like, how disappointing. I'm not going to say that to them, but like, I'm so grateful that I chose to step outside of my comfort zone at a very young age and just do it despite what other people think.
What are some of those decisions or adventures or things that you did to push yourself outside of your comfort zone? Like for me, it was travel. It was starting a business. What did it look like for you?
Those things as well. I think when I was really young, I was really into adrenaline sports. So I did heaps of bungee jumps before I was even like 18.
You definitely come from trauma.
I do. We could go into that. Adrenaline. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't do it now, but partly because I'm older and my pelvic floor isn't what it used to be. But then leaving the country when I was 18, I travelled for the first time on my own. I don't know many people that travel on their own.
Where did you go?
I went to Fiji, and then which is not a place people go on their own either, by the way. No one goes to Fiji on their own. They go with their family or their husband. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to Fiji on my own. Had a fucking blast for 2 weeks. Met this amazing Canadian girl who I'm still friends with, Maggie. Like, had blast. And then went through like Southeast Asia. And then I didn't finish high school, but I got into uni because I was like, I'm smart enough to go to uni, so I just convinced them to let me in. Started businesses when I had a newborn, both times started a new business with a newborn. And, you know, everyone was just like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, why can't I? Like, I absolutely can do this. And a lot of the time it was because I'm bored and now I know I have ADHD. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't really like school anymore. I'm going to leave. Oh, but maybe I'll go to uni. Like, it's still learning, but I was just bored with school. Yeah. Or I'm enjoying being a mum, but now I'm bored because she's napping. So, like, what should I do? Oh, I'll start a new business.
Yeah. And it can become this, like, cycle where you get this massive dopamine hit from the new idea and then you forget to carry it out or see it through to the end, and then you get on to the next one and then you're like, wait, what have I even achieved though?
Yes, that is part of it is actually stopping and recognizing what you've achieved in the process. So I think that is what I've learned over time is it's okay to have that momentum and find something new and have all these ideas. That's just who I am. I'm not going to change that, and I can't now. It's ingrained and I love it. I live for it. But it's so good to go, oh my gosh, I did this, and celebrate it as well.
I think that's really beautiful. And when you think about it, like most entrepreneurs or business owners that we would look up to or go, oh, wow, they've done something significant within time, whether that's like Mark Zuckerberg or it's Elon Musk or it's just someone that you know around you. I always kind of have this joke. I'm like, what end of the spectrum are you? Because you've got to have something innately different about the way you think, how you show up, yes, and your energy and drive, whether it's attention to detail, whether it's execution. There's something within you that the average person who's just happy working a 9 to 5 could not care less about wanting to run a business. Like, you have something that they don't. Like, for you, that is your superpower, your ADHD, the ability to go deep, go hard into the things you care about. And I know one of those things for you is AI.
Yes.
So you've come from marketing, and I'm assuming that there was this AI buzz. You were like, oh my gosh, how could I use it in marketing? But then as times come around, you're like, oh, I can use it for leadership. I can use it for my daily life. I can use it for my medical stuff. Like, there were just so many things coming up. In the initial stages when AI first hit the internet, ChatGPT became publicly available. What were your initial thoughts?
I was super excited, major hyper-focus dopamine hits with my ADHD. I had only just found out that I had ADHD actually at that point in time. And I was running a business coaching women in marketing and mindset. So, along my wheel of things that I did, I learned hypnotherapy, NLP, all that kind of thing, working with small businesses to overcome some of those barriers in order to actually get the word out there with their marketing. But I wasn't feeling great about it, probably because what I'd been doing so far had been over a year, and so I was starting to get bored of launching the same thing again, wanted to do something new. But I was also seeing at that point in time, ChatGPT came out kind of after that wave of COVID that impacted everyone so heinously. Yeah. I was like, how many words could I put to that? And the economy was starting to struggle. Small businesses were starting to struggle. It's gotten worse since then, really. But I wondered, could AI be part of the solution to that problem? And before ChatGPT, people might not realise that AI did exist before that.
Oh my gosh, Mission Impossible, if you watch some of the first ones, they're talking about AI. This is in like the 1980s. And then also in, Marvel movies. I get that it's not real life, but there are always little...
Yes. AI, the term AI has existed since the 70s. So it has existed. So large organisations, governments, military have had access to AI for a lot longer than what we think is even fathomable. But yeah, so it would have been mentioned in the 80s. I don't remember that movie. Again, I'm like, I've watched some movies. I don't remember. The Matrix is one that we could come back to. But it's been around for a long time. Jasper was around before ChatGPT. And Jasper was like ChatGPT, but
copywriting?
Almost better, to be honest. It was writing images. I say better. Compared to what we can do now with images, it was absolutely crap. But it was still mind-blowing. So I was playing with Jasper and I was at this retreat in Queensland and I was supposed to just be like enjoying my life at this beautiful retreat and thinking that like everything was so happy and I was like depressed in this dark night of the soul. And I knew when this kind of thing happens, because I go through these waves, I'm like, something's not right, something's going to change. Now my business was doing pretty well and I, was riding that wave of success, but I felt like crap. And I was like, okay, cool. I wonder if I can lean into this a little bit. So I went down the rabbit hole and started learning and was mind-blown. And I just knew that this was going to be massive. There was no way that it couldn't be. And I burnt down half of my business a month later. So I had a mastermind and it was, I was bringing in 6 figures, just that one offer. And I was like, do you know what? This is taking up so much of my time and energy. I need to learn. Like I need time to stop and learn and figure out my next steps. So I had a conversation with my husband at the time and I said, what would it look like if I didn't pay myself for 3 months, 3 to 4 months? Would we be okay? He helps out like me, spreadsheets, money, thank fuck for him, organising all of that stuff. And he looked at it and he's like, yep, we can do that. So I did, and it's absolutely paid off because, even just this year I've given myself 4 pay rises. I've brought in more team and obviously I have AI also doing a whole lot of the work for us as well. So it's paid off from a business sense, but from a mindset and energy perspective, it's amazing for me because it's always changing.
Yeah.
Like every friggin' day. Sometimes it's frustrating. I will admit it is really frustrating that I wake up and I'm like, now something's changed. Or I'm in the middle of a training with someone and I'm like, oh, that button's not there anymore because they moved it yesterday. Like the amount of times that happens drives me mental. But
it's like Meta Ads Library. It's like every single person has a different kind of interface, the way they look at it. It's just like, why? But if you don't innovate, if you don't update, people get complacent.
Yes.
They'll move to another app that does.
I think the speed of it is what's crazy though. That's what's hard, is that the speed of the change has been faster than any other technology that's ever existed. It does keep me very excited and on my toes. Clearly, like I said, bungee jumping at 15 years old, like I like adrenaline. So when ChatGPT 5 landed at 2 a.m. in the morning while I was in Bali, I was awake playing with it.
Yeah.
But it means I do it and I learn and then other people benefit from my crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Like, not everyone has the time to sit there and play with it, and they don't want to either. They want
I don't have
to
the
go,
time.
hey, I just want you to tell me what's working for you, or what did you try, or how did this work?
Yeah.
And I guess if we were to pull it back in, what do you think at a basic level, like business owners should be using AI for? Because there's so many different things to unpack with it. It's like the conversations I have with people, it's like they get Canva and they don't buy Canva Pro. They have ChatGPT, but they don't invest in ChatGPT Premium. Like there's so much benefit to having this in your business, but only if you're using it correctly. And so if I was a business owner who doesn't currently use AI and I wanted to bring it into my business, what are like the top 3 things that you would suggest I start using it for?
First of all, if you think you're not using AI, you are. It's in everything. Like if you have a social media account, there's AI in your social media account. So we'll just dispel that myth right here and now, because when people say to me, I don't use AI, I'm like, do you have Spotify? Do you watch Netflix? Do you use Google Maps? Like all of those things are using AI all the time. You go into your Google and you go to type something and it already knows what you're fucking thinking because it's in your WhatsApp, hearing what your conversations are with your friends. Like I'm going off on a tangent. I will come back. I just got my blood test results this morning and it's seen what I'm looking at in my blood test results. And when I go to Google something about my blood test results, it's already predicted my words.
Yeah.
It's in everything. Okay, so 3 things. To be honest, the first thing is to actually get clear on what you're already doing. That it's not a tool. Most businesses go, oh, shiny object, ChatGPT, Sintra. Everyone cancel your Sintra subscriptions.
Terrible.
They do great marketing, but they do not follow through with anything that they say they're going to do. Number 1 is knowing what you're currently doing in your business, because if you just bring in AI tools to do new things in your business, you haven't saved yourself any time. You've just added another thing for you to do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of particularly small businesses, we don't have our SOPs written down. We don't have processes. It's all in our head. It's like, how do you do that thing? Oh, I can tell you. Yeah, but is it written down? No. If your process is not written down, it is very hard for AI to replicate it. So that is the number 1 thing. And it's not a tool. It's just, it's a skill, a process that has to be in every single business.
Well, let's say someone doesn't have all these SOPs written out. How easy is it for them to just pull up AI, put on the mic and just talk into it and then tell it to create the SOP?
Yes. Well, that is also very much true. And I mean, I use AI for everything. So I use AI for the things that I need for AI, if that makes sense. So if I'm creating an SOP for AI, I'll use AI to create the SOP for AI. It's very meta in the way that it works in terms of you can use it to feed it, but you also need to use your human element to know what you're feeding it. And it takes a whole different way of thinking. There is a tool. So if we attach a tool to number 1, I would say Scribe How. So Scribe How is a free tool that you can add to your Google Chrome. And when you go to do something on your computer digitally, so it has to be online, you can use Scribe How to create an SOP of everything that you're doing. It will take screenshots of every click that you do, and that is something that can then be fed to AI to say, hey, if I wanted AI to do this process for me, how would I do it? And you just upload the PDF, boom, and it will say, well, you could do this, 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 this. So that would actually be the first thing. Second thing is your large language models like ChatGPT. So the acronym that everyone needs to know, because you all need to know this new language at this point, is LLM. Large language model. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, they're all LLMs. And they all essentially do the same thing. They take a heap of knowledge and you give it an instruction and it does something with that knowledge. So learning how to use those effectively, my number 1 tip with LLMs, is to imagine that it's a human. Because if you imagine it's a human, you're going to ask yourself, what does a human need to know to do this well? You jump in and go, write me a post about candles, it's going to come back with a really shit response because you haven't given it enough information. If you actually hired someone to write posts about your candles, you would give them a lot more information than that. So imagine they're a human and then you will get a better result. So that's the second thing. The third thing for anyone that's wanting to dive deeper is getting more into AI automations. So in that order, it's the first one is actually getting clear on what you're currently doing so that you're not just throwing random spaghetti against the wall. The second thing is LLMs. And the third thing, AI automations, which can be done in so many ways, and we won't go too far into that at this point, but it's basically where you take automations, which have existed for a long time, and add AI into it so that you can make your automations do things despite what happens. So what I mean by this is, say you are like, I'm going to zap this piece of information to this, but for whatever reason, it doesn't work. If you have AI involved, it can go, oh, that didn't work. Let's try this. Like a human. A human will go, oh, okay, that automation didn't work. We can work out why that didn't happen and we can make a different pathway to get to the same result. So that's where AI automations and agentic workflows come in. But those first 2 are the most important. And honestly, the one that people are missing are number 1. They're not working out what they're currently doing to actually AIify it. And most people, number 2, LLMs, like you could spend a whole year on that and still not be a pro.
Oh, it's always shifting. That's the thing. Even social media, like the experts, like I think the only people who can really master social media are the people who are creating the platforms because they're in control of the change. I'm really curious to know, what are your thoughts on how people are using AI in their prompting? Because when you look at the average person who doesn't understand what AI is truly capable of, they're not setting up projects, they're not using agents, they're not setting up custom GPTs. They're just going in there and saying, hey, write a caption, or I want to do this for my branding. What do you think? Or how do we build this out? Or can you do this maths for me? How are we using AI? Like, are we using it in a way that we're just doing 50 prompt threads, or is there a better way?
Well, that's what most people are doing. Like 99% of people are just going in, writing in a random thing that they're thinking and hoping to get a good result. And I think we've become really impatient as humans. And also we've been promised that AI will do so much. And so then we get in, we give it a random prompt, half-assed, and then we're like, oh, that was a crap result. AI's shit. Walk away. Instead of taking a little bit more time, which it does take a little bit more time on the front end to train it to act the way you want it to act to get a good result. But then also you might train it and then some days it goes rogue. But do you know what? That is like any human, right? I'm human and go rogue some days. I'm like, yeah, one day I'm on point and I'm nailing life, and the next day I'm like, fuck my life. Yeah. So AI is the same. And I think when we treat it like that, instead of treating it like a quick route and getting a good result, it's like, come on, let's do some foreplay. Let's warm it up.
Got to put the effort in to get the result.
Exactly. You've got to put the effort in. And so there's so many ways to do that. And I think that's what confuses people too, is that there's a lot of ways to train it. And I honestly recommend using them all, but you want to start with one. So it might be personalization in ChatGPT, actually going into your settings, looking at the personalization settings and updating those. It might be using custom GPTs. It might be setting up projects. And as I'm saying all these things, there's probably people listening going, I haven't done any of these things.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And that's what we're here to talk about. Like when I first started, I was doing the same. I was just constantly using one thread for every single question I would ask or a new topic, and I wouldn't go back into it. And then I started to have one thread where it was like, I'm just going to talk about stories in here, and then this one will be for marketing. And then I was like, oh, I can build a custom GPT. So I've set that up. And then the other side of it is like, if you start building out custom GPTs and projects and everything, how niche is too niche? Like, do you just have a marketing custom GPT that's pre-programmed with your personality, your branding, your tone of voice, your previous content, hooks? I've got copywriting frameworks and everything that I load in there. And I've gone and created one for email marketing. I've gone and created one for content marketing. I've gone and created one for podcast interviews. I've done one for podcast market research. So it almost gets to the point where you're like, should you just be doing a marketing one, like broadly, or am I going to get better results if I go more niche?
This is a really common question that I get. And the answer is always, it depends. And I don't know if you've noticed, I swear a bit. So have I ever asked, is that okay that I swear on your podcast?
Yeah. As long as you don't say the C word, I feel like that's a bit too far.
No, that's fair enough. I won't go there. I drop the F-bomb a lot. And what I'm about to share is like my framework for working all of this out, and it's got a swear word in it.
Yeah.
So my framework for AI is fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because it depends on your business, and it just means you've got to go and test it out and iterate and see what is going to work best for you. The way I do it personally is I have got custom GPTs like you for different smaller kind of niche roles within my business.
Yeah.
I did, however, start with an overall marketing assistant, and from that, it helped me to determine what bits it was doing well, what bits it could be doing better, and then I kind of broke it off into smaller parts. It's like any team. If you have a big organization, you don't just have a marketing person, you have a marketing team.
Yeah.
So the more your business is doing, the more likely you are going to need more niche specific roles within your AI. But you might not get it right the first time. And that's the same with hiring a team, right? For example, I hired an EA/OBM at the beginning of this year because I was like, kind of need to be broad. Now, over time, and this is real human, not an AI, because sometimes I feel like I have to specify that now. I'm like, is your EA AI? No, my EA is a human.
Yeah. Offshore or onshore?
She's from Australia.
Oh, okay.
But she lives, oh God, where is she at the moment? She's living the dream life. She's in London, I think, right now. She's just been in Dubai. She lives in Bali. Like,
laptop lifestyle.
Love that for her. But I hired her as like this broad role. And then as the years progressed and I've hired other people, her role has actually gotten smaller in the sense of what she does because I've brought in other people. And so everyone's specialized. Same with AI. And so don't expect that you're going to get it right the first time. Start with something, probably start broader and then bring it in.
Yeah. I love this. And then when we're thinking about the future, you spoke about agentic workflows and there's AI agents, and I've also spoken about virtual assistants on this podcast. And for the person listening to this going like, where does it all fit in? Like, how does it go? Let's just say, for example, marketing, because I know every single person listening to this podcast would need marketing for their business to run. What are you thinking, or what are you setting up for a business to run well when it comes to, okay, we're going to let a custom GPT take care of this, an agent take care of this, and this is what your virtual assistant does? Like, how does it all work together?
Okay, so the answer is it depends. It's so different for every business, right? But I'll give you some examples and one that might work. In this case, we're in a podcast studio right now.
Yep.
This is marketing for you, right? And it can be top of funnel, middle of funnel, it can even be bottom of funnel for your marketing. But this is content and it's long form content, and there's so much goodness that comes out of a podcast, right?
100%.
But it takes so much time. And obviously there's more and more tools for editing, etc. But out the back of your podcast content, you can create an AI automation that automatically, once your podcast audio is uploaded, that's the only thing that you would do is it's uploaded. And that could almost be automatic too. Uploaded to a certain file, and from that file, it runs through an agentic workflow that goes through ChatGPT to create 8 pieces of content for 8 different pieces of different platforms and automatically posts to them. But it's based off exactly the way that you would talk about it. So that then means you have to train it really well. And this is the thing, right, is there's so much crap AI content out there. And so it's not going to be something you can set up tomorrow and be like, boom, 8 pieces of content every podcast. It would take time to train it. I personally set up those workflows to send the content through to my Notion dashboard for me to approve them before they go out into the public arena. But that's the kind of AI workflows that can be set up. That's where you've got, it's like an automation, but you've brought ChatGPT or other large language models in to do that writing part for you in your brand voice. So that's one example of how you can set that up. There's lower level ways to do that by just creating a custom GPT that is trained to take your transcript and create different pieces of content based on examples. That's a marketing example, but it's also kind of operations, right? Because, you
need to have the system in place, regardless if it's the VA, if it's AI carrying out that task, there has to be some kind of structure or system.
Yeah. So an example, actually, if we go back to Scribe How, I mentioned before as a tool, when agents came out on ChatGPT, agent mode, I created a Scribe How SOP. I'd actually already created it for my EA. It was for the Biz Revolution Fund. And every time someone had put in an application, so anyone's listening to this, I had 44 people put in these big applications for funding. And then I needed to put all of those applications into one document. Now, for some reason, the system I was using wouldn't put them all into one document. So I had to get my EA to go in, find the name, copy and paste it across into a Word document, and then repeat 44 times. Painful. Half an hour task, but painful. And I was like, could AI do this? It's not on ChatGPT. I had to take over my computer to do it. So I gave agent mode that exact SOP that I had given my EA. It took my EA half an hour. It took agent mode 14 minutes, and it did it incredibly well. And so I had this document structured, ready to send out to all of the judges, and it did all of that. So all of the click, move, copy, paste, add, format, email, done.
So it's good for those small repetitive tasks.
Yes.
That's exactly what I would be using a VA for. That, before Canva, like when I looked at getting my first VA, my understanding was like they were really good with putting things into spreadsheets, being able to go and get all my social media metrics and tell me what's working, what's not. They were very simple, low-level tasks. Can you get AI to do your organic Instagram engagement?
You can, yes. I wouldn't recommend it personally. So one of the things I've tested with agent mode in my last round of AI Marketing Machine, when everyone joined the Facebook group, the community Facebook group for that course, is I get them all to do an intro post, and I got AI agents to go in and reply on my behalf to their intro posts. And then I told them in the first session, hey, by the way, that wasn't me. That was an agent. Now, I hadn't spent a lot of time training it, so I think it was obvious. And they were all like, oh, I wondered if it was you. I got it to do like intentionally do spelling mistakes.
Yeah.
So that it was like
human
looking, but then it overdid it a little bit.
Like you're dyslexic now.
Yeah, like all of a sudden I don't know where the capital letters are. Like I can't spell for shit. So they picked that up, but I was really just testing it. Like if I wanted that to do better, then I could. So yes, it can do that. I think the concerns, you do want to have concerns around what would happen if it does go rogue.
Yeah.
And
MG, you suck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Or it's like your worst enemy that you've had on mute, and then it's just like they've gone and commented something like really fake and nice, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, so this is the thing. I mean, I have humans that help me out with stuff like this, and because they don't know, like I might be networking, and then I've connected with someone on Instagram, and then my VA does like this connection post, and I'm like, oh, I've already met that person. I should have messaged them first. Whoops.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. It's always like, it's hard as well because you've got so many different things going on, and those tasks need to be done in the background for your business to run. And I guess as you get bigger, it's harder to have those intentional touch points. Yeah, otherwise, you just got to get in there in the voice note before the VA gets in and just like pray that you don't get a double up.
Well, I think the thing is people know when you get to a certain point, they're not expecting, well, they shouldn't be. Maybe they do, but if they do, whatever. I think like I don't drop into Oprah Winfrey's DMs and expect her to reply. I know I'm not Oprah, not yet, but like at the Revolution event, I was like, I just wanted to be like, you get money, but I'm not Oprah, not yet.
You could have given them the Monopoly money.
Well, that would have been. Well, we did have fake money. You weren't there.
I know. I was like,
have you not seen the photos with all the cash we threw around?
Oh, did you have one of those guns?
We had guns. We had money guns. It was so much fun.
I love that. So can you walk us through your current AI tech stack? Like what are you currently using in your business, and without going into too much of a rabbit hole, like what is the main benefit or what does it do for you? Because I'm assuming there's a fair few things in there.
There is. There's actually less than what you might imagine though.
Okay.
And I do have a free resource that I can send you a link to. So if you're, and I
add
update
it to the show notes.
So it basically just goes straight to my Notion board that shows you my current tech stack, and I keep that updated for my own reference, and then anyone else can reference it too. So ChatGPT is the one that I would use 100 times a day.
Yep.
I've already used it multiple times today. And the paid version of it, I only use the $20 a month version, but there's so much you can do on that. Like people that don't even realize you can make an app using ChatGPT. You can vibe code an app to put onto your website to charge people for, there's so much you can do with ChatGPT alone. I also use Jace, which is spelt Jace. My dyslexia was almost coming out there. Jace. And that helps me with my emails. So it's not email marketing. It's like your actual inbox. It's brilliant. Like I'm obsessed. I think I also...
Better than Fixer?
Way better.
Oh.
I tried Fixer. Fixer is available on Outlook. Jace is not. I use Gmail, so it's fine. But Jace is the only AI I've ever used that I've been able to get rid of the fucking M dash. So the thing is, it's same with Fixer. It reads everything that's in your inbox and then it writes replies. So, you get these constant same kind of questions about things, and it reads all of your previous replies and writes the reply in your voice, no M dashes, and just nails it every time.
And doesn't send it out. You can still have the control over. Yeah.
It's drafted. Yeah, because recently it's been replying to all of the auto replies. Oh. Like someone sent an auto reply and it's like replying saying, oh, thanks for letting me know what you're up to. I still want to know about this marketing email. Blah, blah. I'm like, Jace, settle down. We don't need to harass people. So Jace is definitely high up there. Then I use make.com for all of my AI automations and general automations. Prefer make.com over Zapier for lots of reasons. And it's cheaper, way cheaper. I think I only pay $15 a month for Make. Wow. And there is so much you can do with that. I also use Techmatics, which is a version of Go High Level. Yeah. And Go High Level is one of the fastest growing softwares in the world right now. And there is so much natively that you can do in there. So ManyChat, which is another thing I am using but I'm moving off. ManyChat is where you can automatically DM people.
Yeah.
I'm removing ManyChat because Techmatics or Go High Level can do all of that now as well.
Really?
Yes.
Are you using bots and things like that in Go High Level?
Yes. Yeah, so that's another thing. Like just recently with my program AI Marketing Machine, I've noticed people coming in, there's more and more of them that know more about AI.
Yeah.
And so they've built a custom GPT, for example. So my first lesson in AI Marketing Machine is not about building custom GPTs anymore. I expect people to know, but there's still people that don't know.
Yeah.
So when people join now, they have a bot that pops up in the membership and asks them a series of questions to find out what they know about AI and then gives them a bespoke, I fucking hate the word bespoke. I need to come up with a new one. A custom, no, I don't know. Anyway.
Personalised? I feel like these are all words used in beauty, like it's like bespoke brows.
Yeah, okay,
or like
this is why we needed to talk.
Facial, personalised.
Customised, personalised.
Tailored.
Tailored. Oh, I'm glad we had this chat. No more bespoke. So a personalised list of pre-work for them to do. So if they haven't built a custom GPT, it goes, okay, you need to go and do this. So it's personalised learning, which is where education needs to go, so we can into that. And that way, when people start on day one of AI Marketing Machine, I know they've got the foundations, but they haven't had to go and learn stuff they already know because that bot has worked it out. So that bot pops up and asks them questions.
That's really cool.
There's lots of bot building platforms though, like if you don't use Techmatics, there's heaps that you can use out there that are really easy to embed into sites. So if you're like, oh my God, I'm already on something else like Kajabi, crap.
I hate Kajabi. I started in Kajabi and I know a lot of people invest like thousands of dollars to get someone to build them a course on Kajabi. And I'm just like, if it's your first course, no. If it's something that you've done for a while and you're confident and you know what you want to do, yes, go for it because you want to build it out, but I would not do it on Kajabi.
There's so many other places now.
Yeah.
Definitely. A lot of people moving over to Go High Level.
Go High Level, Ivory, Techmatics, they're all more or less
they're the same base. So Go High Level is the base white label software.
Yeah.
And then Ivory. So personally, Techmatics I believe is better than Ivory for a few reasons. So Ivory is pure white label. So it is just Go High Level but made pretty, and they do really well with that because a lot of their templates are like really visually aesthetic, pleasing. That's totally a word. And like that's what a lot of people want. But Techmatics, they have actually just used Go High Level as a base, and they're actually building things on top of it. So like your Monday.com, or whatever you use for Notion, they've got task management inside Techmatics. There's more in the AI agent section than in your standard Go High Level. There's more in terms of automations than your standard Go High Level. So they're building on top of it.
Yeah.
The other thing with Techmatics is that they have GDPR regulation insurance. Ivory doesn't. So that means if you have got clients overseas or you're emailing people overseas outside of Australia, there's risk involved if you aren't GDPR compliant. So Techmatics pays for the insurance for its users, whereas I don't know that any other Go High Level white label does.
Does Go High Level itself do it?
No. Because Go High Level, Go High Level's not Australian.
Yeah, I got that on the onboarding calls. I was like, oh.
I think, are they European maybe?
No. I spoke to a lot of Indians. And it was like, that was kind of, I had like 4 support calls and they were all like international. So
yeah. And the thing is, the likeliness is it'll be fine.
It's offshore.
Just that. So because GDPR has got to do with the European Union, like it's if you have people over in the UK or Europe that it can impact your deliverability of your emails. It can impact BAM scores, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a consideration.
For sure. You know, it's quite interesting when I look at people in the beauty industry, what platforms they're currently using for, like, let's say their website or let's say they want to get into education and training because that's a big thing at the moment, online courses. They're either currently using Squarespace and they're trying to do it through that. I'm not a big fan of Squarespace. I feel like some people can make it look pretty, but it's just so limited in what it can do and it feels quite clunky. Some people use Wix, but then again, it's just simple website. But these people don't have landing pages. They don't have sales pages. They don't have anything for lead magnets. It's just purely like, hey, this is my business. Here's all my services. Book now. Maybe a contact us section.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm seeing is with people shifting into the online space more, they're probably investing in way too many platforms and not looking at like Techmatics or Go High Level or Ivory where they can have it all under one roof. And so when you think, oh, it's like 97 USD a month or whatever it is, so like 150, 160 Australian dollars, you go, oh, that's expensive because they're so used to paying for like their $30 booking system or their $70 booking system on top of, you know. But you look at what you would pay for Kajabi. Like,
which has just gone up.
On the bottom plan when I was using it like 3-4 years, well, no, not even like, yeah, almost 4 years ago actually now. I used it for like a year and a half. It's like $300 and something dollars. And then, oh, that's only for 3 courses. You build another course. Yep, now we want another $500. And you're kind of locked in.
Yes. And that's what Kajabi's done recently. I don't know if you've seen, but they've actually changed over their payment structure so that if you are on Kajabi and you're not using Kajabi payment, so through their payment gateway, if you're using external like Stripe, they charge you extra. So then if you have recurring income coming from Kajabi, you can never move off because as soon as you move off, you can't get that income anymore. So really you have to be connected to Stripe so that you can leave, or PayPal or whatever, something else outside so that you can leave Kajabi and still keep your payments coming through. But Kajabi are now penalising people for that and putting their prices up. Oh my gosh, there is a lot of people leaving Kajabi right now. Good luck to them.
Yeah, I think I was quite fortunate that Go High Level actually allowed me to import all my stuff through. It wasn't a hard process, whereas other platforms it's like, oh, download this video. And it's like you just don't want to because of the amount of time and effort required. But when you look at all the different platforms you're using, you know, you don't want to have, oh, I have an email marketing platform. And then I have a calendar platform and then I've got this platform and it's just become so many different things and you feel like you're saving money because they're all little cheap subscriptions, but they add up to be like $500 a month.
Yes. Yeah. And that's what Go High Level is aiming to do, is take that away. And I think that's going to happen with a lot of platforms over time, is that it's all going to be all in one. It used to be that the all-in-ones were really crap at doing most things. It's kind of, you know, the jack of all trades. But now it's gotten a lot better. And I will say, like, I do think that there's certain things, like in ManyChat, for example, there are a couple of things that I'm like, damn it, I really wish Techmatics had that. But it will be coming. Like, it's just that they're growing so fast and moving in so many directions. But it can move fast now. Like, you don't have to wait years for something to adapt. And if you're asking for it, I guarantee other people are asking for it too. And it'll happen, and it will happen very quickly.
See, I've seen a couple people build their own booking softwares and everything through white labeling and Go High Level. And I always looked into that and go, is that something that I could do, or what would that look like? But I think it's not a priority, and I don't think that it would be innovatively any better than what's out there already. It's going to be worse before it's better. So podcasting, sticking at that, not going down that ADHD rabbit hole. But, you know, when you look at people who are using, let's say, Wix or Square in their business from a marketing perspective, would you say it is actually better for them to move across to something like Techmatics or Go High Level?
Do you know what I'm going to say?
It depends.
It depends. Yeah, I mean, I think the things you want to look at is, what are my goals 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Because if your current technology, your software is not going to meet that, you better move now. Because if you don't, you're not going to get there, because it takes time and energy to move across. So if you get like 3 years in and you've made all like that far towards the goals, and no one can see my hands right now, I'm gesturing. I'm like a fucking Italian the way I speak. And then you're going to have a bottleneck and you'll go backwards. So it's like, you know, hiring your first VA or getting into AI. Always start before you're ready, because that way you can be prepared for that shift. And I believe energetically it kind of gives you the edge that tells the universe, like, okay, we're making a shift, we're getting ready. You'll find things when you shift across to another platform too that aren't working, or you'll find new ways of doing things, and it just makes you grow and evolve. Wix and Squarespace are going to be fine for a lot of businesses. But again, it's like, what are your goals? What do you need to use? Spreadsheet out, you know, what are you paying for?
I don't think the beauty industry likes spreadsheets. Unless they're my ones.
ChatGPT verbalize.
Yeah.
Okay, or make it easier for yourself. Get your statement, put your bank statement into ChatGPT as a PDF and say, tell me all of my expenses from a month. Like, what am I paying for? And tell me what's the crossover. Boom, done.
Because I think with people moving into that education space, it is definitely something that you want to look into or be aware of. If you're just solely focusing on services, you've got a salon, you've got a clinic, you've got a studio, then keeping it simple might actually be better for you because you're going to get overwhelmed from a new platform.
Yes. So with education, if you think about what I just said with AI marketing machine, like every single online course in the future needs to have a bot.
Yeah.
Like
For
people
support,
expect
the
that.
onboarding experience.
They expect it.
Yeah.
Like that I log in and it's 2 a.m. and I'm learning. I have a question. Oh, you've got a bot for that. Sweet.
Yeah. It's so interesting because I think there's definitely a level of having these tools and resources that is amazing. But then at the same time, I'm like, I just want to talk to a fucking human. Like,
yes.
I had this issue with Upwork where, this happened ages ago, maybe like 12 months. My card, got scammed and then I had to close down that card, get a new one. And then I accidentally cut up my new card when it came instead of the old one. So then I had to get like a third card sent and we got it sorted in the end. But it blocked my payments to Upwork and then I couldn't pay Andre and then there was a whole stress and then I couldn't just put in the new card details and resume. I actually had to contact, but there was no one to contact. And then there was this bot, but then the bot wasn't doing anything and it kept leading me to the FAQs. And I'm like, this isn't solving the problem. And that's where I'm getting frustrated. Like,
you're not alone.
Yeah. So there's definitely that side where I think we need to be mindful of how we integrate them into our own businesses. And it's like, at what stage does it become, okay, the bot can't do everything. This is where we step in, not just solely giving it all to the bot and then leaving people frustrated.
It's happening a huge amount at the moment. I think it's what I recently went to South by Southwest in Sydney, which is an innovation and culture festival. And a lot of the organisations that were there are larger organisations like Upwork, organisations that have money to put into AI but aren't necessarily doing it that well. And all of them, I shouldn't say all of them, 90% of them were saying they're not getting an ROI on AI, which I found really interesting but also not surprising because of exactly what you just said. They're pissing people off because they're not doing it in a way that feels authentic. They're not doing it in a way that actually supports their customers. And it also means a lot of small businesses are then going, I don't want to use AI because I don't want to piss people off. Because if you're a small business and you piss people off, it affects you a lot. Like you lose a couple of customers and that can affect you a lot. Whereas bigger businesses, they can experiment a little bit. They lose a few, they learn a bit, they, take new angles. So I think one of the things I say is just because you can use AI for something doesn't mean you should. And I say that a lot because in that situation, they were trying to use AI for whatever reason to save money, to, reduce the costs of their customer service, but it then impacts their customer experience. You can't pay through that. They've lost money because if you can't pay through that, you're going to try and find another way to pay. They can't get the fees.
Yeah.
And that happens thousands of times because it's Upwork, and that's a problem. So I don't know that I can tell you a solution to it because companies are going to continue to try and save money. Yeah. But I think it's an important lesson for small business owners in going, okay, is this going to improve my customer experience? Is it going to keep it the same or is it going to make it worse? And if there is a chance it's going to make it worse, don't do it.
Okay, let's say I'm a skin clinic or I'm a beauty salon or a hair salon and I'm just like so strapped for time. I'm burnt out. I've got clients, I've got staff, I've got all these other tasks that I have to do. When you talk about building a bot, like where am I building it? What am I putting it on? Is it my website? Am I having it linked in with my Instagram somehow? Because I think there's a huge amount of people who miss out on opportunity. Like you said before, people want things instantly. And without that instant response time, if you are burnt out and busy and you take 2 days to reply, you've lost the sale. You've lost the opportunity. Like what could they be doing or setting up to help with this?
So many ideas. Okay, so the first thing I would do is back to that number one thing, right, is work out what you're currently doing or where the leaks are.
It depends.
It depends. Well, it does. It does depend. But I can give you some really specific examples. I've actually worked recently with a group of aesthetic medical businesses because the APRA guidelines that changed a couple of months ago impacted all of those businesses. So I will say quickly what we did with them was we actually created a custom GPT that has all of the APRA guidelines in it so that if they're creating content, they just put it in there, get it to check, is it matching the guidelines? If not, that kind of thing. So that's one example. But looking at where those leaks are. So if you're missing out on sales because it's Instagram DMs and you've got that automatic, freaking hate those automatic replies, we'll get back to you soon. Like, no, there needs to be a bot inside your DMs going, hey, are you wanting to book an appointment? Yes, no. They go, yes. If they say yes, okay, what kind of appointment are you wanting to book? Just tell me in 2 words. And then it takes them through to the right place. If you're wanting to chat to a human, we'll be back with you within about 24 hours. Let us know your number.
Is this ManyChat?
Yes,
is
it can
this
be.
Instagram or?
Yep. You can't build it in Instagram.
Yep.
It would need to be built in ManyChat or Go High Level. There would be other options out there. I don't know what they are, but those would be the best ones.
Do you know how to send messages that are automated from ManyChat that don't actually look like they're from ManyChat and they just come up like a text?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, they just need to not have buttons.
Oh.
If you add buttons, then they will look like.
Okay.
But the thing is, the buttons help with interaction.
Yeah.
I think transparency is good because if people know it's a bot, like if you're pretending not to be a bot, it can be awkward. So, for example, someone that follows me, she sells dog treats. Now, my bot is set up to say, hey, first name.
Yeah.
Her
hey,
first
dog
name.
Treats.
No, dog. Just dog.
Oh.
Hey, dog.
What's up, dog?
So if she thought that was just me being like, hey, dog, like, so it's clear it's a bot.
Yeah.
Because I also sign off as M-bot at the end so that they know.
Yeah.
Like you're talking to a bot here because that also pisses people off. If they think they're talking to a human, it's like misleading.
I think it's really interesting because I've had a couple lead magnets sent and so it looks like it's directly come from them, but I'm like, fucking Stephen Bartlett is definitely not texting me right now. It's like a bot.
His ManyChat is shit. I've messaged him.
And there's
like,
also
do you want to do this better? I'll help.
Cody Sanchez. She has a few different ones. And like looking, Maria Wendt, hers are very like botty.
Yep.
But it was quite interesting. I was like, how are they doing that? What are they doing? Because it just felt, it was just interesting.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they would all be using ManyChat.
Yeah.
Yes. I have replied to Stephen's one. Steve, we're like first name basis, Steve.
Yeah, I think it's really cool because the more you can actually create that instant communication, it actually sets you up to save time of the ping pong back and forth. So like if they sit in there and they go, hey, Sammy, I want to know what your prices are. Like number one, do not give your prices. First ask like, is it okay if I ask a few questions to understand what it is you're looking for so we can help? And then you would want to say, like, what are you struggling with? And so it might be a certain concern. It might be acne, rosacea, pigmentation, anti-aging, and then they can click that. And then based on that answer that they've selected, you have a different set of replies and questions that come from that. You can build out these workflows and they do take time. I think you really need to understand the common questions that people would be asking over and over again and then automate that out because if you go in and there's this automated chat and you can actually see the flow, oh, they're struggling with skin, they're this old, this problem has been doing this, they've tried this, it's not worked, you can give them that phone call like I'm saying.
Yep.
And
you
be
already
like,
know
hey,
the problem.
I'm Sammy from the skin clinic. I saw that you've done this, this and this. Would you like to come in for a consult? Like, or I've got an idea of what could be happening. Would you like to hear more? You can just create that conversation and make it so much more personalized, which everyone wants. They don't want the cookie cutter. They don't want the same shit as everyone else. They want you to take the time to listen to them, understand their needs, and then create something that feels uniquely specific for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems complicated to set up when you haven't done it before. But I will say you can use AI, you can use ChatGPT to help you set that up. If you just get into ChatGPT and say, these are the conversations, what would the workflow look like? Or ask me some questions to help me work out what the workflow would look like. And then ChatGPT now connects with a platform called Figma.
Inside the website design.
Yeah, inside ChatGPT. So you just have to have a free Figma account and you can just say, cool, can you please map that out in a Figma workflow? And it will create the flow chart. Take that flow chart across to ManyChat. Drag, drop, drag, drop, drag, drop.
So good.
Yes.
So good. Let's talk about something a little bit different here. And I think there's trends and there's evolutions.
Yes.
And
I like
that happens
yes.
so much in the beauty industry. Like there's a trending product and then it's dropped off the face of the earth, or like this is the new latest thing and it's actually really bad for you. And then there's other things where it's like this has been backed by data, science, research. We're starting to see this. We're changing this out and it actually becomes the norm and stays for the longer term. With AI, I think one of the biggest concerns for me is the difference of the experience we have with people or the connection through social media, especially being in a place where we're doing coaching, we're doing education, or even being a service provider, like still offering a service with humans and then having all this AI generated content. And I'm talking like people making AI clones of themselves.
Yeah.
You know, people who create AI clones and videos of themselves. I'm like seeing that video straight away and I'm going, oh, you probably wrote this with AI. You've created it with AI. I do not trust you. I unfollow immediately. Yep. There was actually a quite, I would say, established business owner. I don't think she likes business coaches. I don't know what she's called. Like she must be, you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
And she had all this AI content of her and I was like, this is terrible. And I just unfollowed immediately. And then I started seeing some other people in the US have these bigger accounts and they're all like, here's how to make your AI clone. And it really hit me like, the people that make the most money off this are the people selling it because everyone just wants to quickly learn it, but then it doesn't actually work long term. And so I guess one of the big things that I'm worried about is that women in our industry might have a bit of a block. They don't want to show up on camera. You know, maybe they feel a little bit insecure or they're not confident or they're like, oh, my hair has to be perfect or my makeup and I don't want to stuff my words up or what if I sound silly? And so they go, okay, I'm just going to get AI to do it.
Yep.
What is the cost of doing that?
Okay, so I want you to imagine that you are your customer and what you go to a beauty service for is to look better in real life. So if you watch a piece of content from your beauty service provider and you realize they're not real, because you do, because the videos, I mean, they're way better than that video of Will Smith eating spaghetti a few years ago. Like they have gotten better, but the disconnect that creates, and you just described it and you're not alone, I hear it every day, will lose you business because it will lose trust, it will lose authenticity, and those are crucial, particularly for service providers, particularly in the beauty business industry, because your clients aren't coming to you because they want to look better as AI clones because they can just potentially do that themselves. If you're faking how you show up, how do they know you're not also faking, other images? How do they know that the results you share are actually real? Because results are what people are coming to you for. And I guarantee, if you're listening to this right now, you also have that same icky feeling in your gut when you see it, because we now are like, seeing is no longer believing. And that then makes us question everything. And if we question everything, I mean, I actually think it's really important to question everything. But if you can't trust someone who's, potentially putting needles in your face, like you aren't going to go there. And so it will impact your reputation because people aren't also kind of saying this is an AI image unless they're selling it as an AI product, that those are the only people that are saying it. And we sniff it out. Like we're human, we sniff it out and it is going to get better. All of this imagery and video is going to get better, but the real authentic stuff where you're not perfect, that is going to stand out. And what's cool about it is that that's actually going to make you more money. Showing up not perfect. So actually doing the non-perfect stuff where your hair's a bit out of whack or like your makeup's a bit smudged or something, like that is going to be the content that actually resonates with people because we're just going to end up scrolling past these perfect avatars. So I know how to do it. I know how to create all these things, but it's not something that I teach because I have lots of ethical concerns around it. I also think we need to consider that at some point, like these are deep fakes, what we're creating. There is going to be legislation around them. And what happens if you're using deep fakes in your business and then all of a sudden there's legislation that says you can't use them anymore? You've got to go find everywhere that those deep fakes are and get rid of them. That's the first thing. Second thing is I have 2 daughters. I don't want them growing up thinking that they have to create a fake version of themselves in order to show up in the world. Yeah. And that's really big for me. Like we already have so many fucking filters and, I love a good filter, but not like, the Snapchat filters where you just like your eyes are massive, your lips
Kylie
are massive
Jenner.
and your cheekbones like, I hope everyone enjoyed that noise.
There was this one girl that I did Miss Universe with and she was really beautiful. Like I thought she was perfect as is. And then as time went on, like after the first night, I went to go follow her on Instagram and I saw her Instagram and I was like,
is that her?
Nah, that's Nah, no. And like she whitened her skin. She completely changed her cheekbone structure. She gave herself this like insanely hourglass figure. But the crazy thing is now she has like hundreds of thousands of followers. Everyone loves that fake stuff. I don't think it's necessarily good. I think a lot of people probably do share it because they're like, what is this? Like she looks like AI.
Yeah.
And I also started to think when I like had that experience, and if that's her choice, that's her choice. Like I just personally wouldn't do it because it's not how I've grown up or what I want to portray. But when I look at that and then I look at other people who own businesses and makeup artists, and before AI imagery was here, like the generated content, there's also the Facetune. And so if you're going to I actually have a photo of me. I should share it. I won't have the makeup artist there, but I had the beauty pageant in Sydney and she did my makeup. It was like $500. And my goodness, it looked amazing. Like, do not get me wrong. This makeup looked amazing. But she had this before and after of me where I just looked so catfish, like next level. And when I looked at the two photos, I was like, that doesn't look like me. Even though I know I looked amazing on the night. And she'd changed my eye color, she'd changed my jawbone structure, my nose, like everything. And it actually,
after.
yeah. And
Wow.
she posted that the before and after right next to each other. And I actually felt really uncomfortable because I was like, well, A, I don't look like that. B, I've been exposed. But C, it looks like I've gone and edited myself and I don't want to edit myself. And so, you know, the other side of that is I also have another photographer friend and he's amazing at, you know, airbrushing and editing. But I think, yeah, like you're saying, women are looking at these picture perfect people online and they're not real. And then the issue with, you know, confidence and body dysmorphia and all those other things comes into play. And I think this is almost the other side, like the dark side of the beauty industry that I've struggled with a lot is like changing myself to fit in. Like when I was doing Miss Universe, I like felt like I had to be like them. I had to be skinnier. I had to have, you know, the big eyelash extensions. I had to have a full face of makeup. I had to have the latest one branded dress. And like if you meet me today, I wear the same dress probably to like 5 events.
Yep.
Like I do not give a fuck. But back then it was like one this, one that, like the podcast studio. I'm like, I'll buy some staples. This is my capsule wardrobe and I will rewear them. But it's just completely different behaviors. And I think I know it's kind of off topic, but at the same time, when we're looking at how much we're consuming, the rapid rate of change, like it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. It's incredibly overwhelming. And then you think about how overwhelming that is going to be for the entire lives of young people. So I, you know, was born in the 80s and grew up. We had 2 TV channels. Like there were I also grew up in New Zealand, so like you know, we're a little bit behind. You were in Albany, but you weren't in the 80s. We're a little bit behind in Albany, but not quite that far behind.
Albany is like a very old school behind, but really woke town.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's like a total vortex of
there's a lot of
different parallels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of them follow us on the Wild West Bowling Facebook page.
Oh,
like,
awesome.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like you just it's definitely changed a lot probably over the last 10 years, but you also got to know your demographic. Like everyone's so different.
Yes.
And also beauty services. Like just let's look at Albany.
Yeah.
People do not wear shoes. Like they will not wear shoes. They're walking down the street, you know, they look like they haven't had a shower in 5 days. Whereas I'm in like Claremont and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do myself up just to go to the shops kind of vibe. Otherwise I'm going to look like the people in Albany.
Well, I mean, you're from Albany, so that's totally okay. Yeah, it is. It's a completely different vibe down there. I feel like I always wore shoes. Did I always wear shoes when I was living there? I feel like Denmark definitely a lot more. It's so different, those two places though.
Yeah.
Like Denmark to Albany, I feel like are completely different.
There are some really normal people and there's some fine things. Like I'm not saying Albany is the worst place. I think I have a lot of like maybe culture shock now because I've been away from it for so long. When I was growing up, it was just so normal. But then now going to a city and I can actually feel like the conversations or when you talk to people, like it's just a completely different vibe. Yeah. People look at me. I don't know if it's because I'm ADHD or I've got so much going on, but like you are just a lot. Like there's so much going on here. Whereas like them, it's just like, what have you been up to? And it's like, you know, the same thing.
And I felt the same way. I felt the same way and that was the pull to come to the city. But I also love being out. like in nature and the hikes and the beaches. It's such a beautiful part of the world. I feel so blessed that I've lived in some absolutely incredibly beautiful places like Albany. But then, coming to the city, although you come to Perth and then it's like there's some good conversations, but then I go to Sydney and I'm like, holy shit. I felt like the smallest fish in a big pond in Sydney. Some of the conversations I had, I was like, oh my gosh, like there's people doing insane things and I don't even know about them, but now I do. And now I'm like, ah.
Do you ever think to yourself, like, what would my life look like if I grew up in Sydney, or what would it look like if I grew up in America? Because I guess things like cost of living or whatever it is, it's so much more money, but would that force you to thrive and be more successful? Like, do we get complacent in the area we are? Because I genuinely grew up believing that most of them make is like 60 or 70 grand a year.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
That is the small town. You know, you're either a teacher or you're a nurse or you're a small business owner at that stage. But then I came here and I was like, whoa, people make over 100 grand. And then I actually started doing the watches and I was meeting like multimillionaires and billionaires. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then you go to Sydney and I was running the pageant. It's like, we own a $10 million business. We own a $20 million. And I'm like, wait, what? And I think proximity is power. Like who you surround yourself around with, you know, the information you get access to, the connections you make, the skills you build, like that ultimately will skyrocket.
Proximity is power, but I will add into that. Now proximity, it's available in so many other ways, which is awesome. And knowledge is power. And now we all have all the knowledge. So with AI, like there is so much that is available to us. With all of our IQs have just gone up. I don't know how the IQ system works, but I know our IQ points have gone up however much. Like they've doubled because if we can use AI. And so there's a lot of power in that no matter where you are. So if you are in like a rural area and you're like, but like for whatever reason, circumstances, you can't be somewhere else, you still can create that proximity. I don't think it's the same as being in person. Like I will be going to South by Southwest every year for that proximity and meeting those people, and just for those moments that I wasn't expecting to go, oh wow, like people are talking about millions of dollars, not like me talking about thousands of dollars. They're just like, $1 million this, $1 million that, and I'm like, okay, cool. This is where we are now. Okay, but it expands you, and that's so important. Well, it's important to me anyway. I think it's important to you and probably everyone listening to this.
Absolutely. I think there definitely are different industry events and things that you can go to, and that's like what I want to build. But then at the same time, I'm like, I think the podcast needs to grow more. I think having that audience to sell to or be able to create that experience for is also important.
It's the age-old question of what comes first, the chicken or the egg.
I think I got like really excited about doing all these big things, but coming back into what I've learned from this year in terms of my energy levels and like what's working, what's not, really focusing on the podcast, like being able to bring better guests in, have better conversations, build more connections, reach out to the people in the DMs, like what do you want? And like I always told myself I'm not good at building community, but I've really flipped that and gone, okay, how can I actually peel back behind the layers? And it's weird because so many people, like I know so many people across like different things, like how I met you and Kim and business retreat there and then this mastermind, and it's like I'm connected, but then at the same time I feel so isolated. It's a very weird feeling being a business owner sometimes.
I think that's a very normal feeling. Like it is, I think like I have so many friends, but they're like business friends, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes, you know, you don't get beyond those business conversations, but it's quite helpful too. But then other times you don't want to get beyond them because you're like, well, I've got these friends because I don't want to talk about babies and, you know, things that like I say that as a mother who, you know, I would have gone to mother's group and been like, oh God, I don't want to just talk about my babies. I've got better things to talk about. Love my babies, but you know.
Yeah.
And so it's finding, I think in business though, that crew that you then intentionally go and do non-business things with as well. We did talk about a bit about AI and connection and how that's going to impact things. One of the things I'm seeing is how many young people, like early 20s, that are now, who've grown up not with AI necessarily, but with, you know, social media, all this technology, are now opting to do things that there is no freaking way I would have done when I was that age, like 5 a.m. run clubs. What the fuck? No way. It would be like, we're out till 5 a.m. Now we need to go get coffee and go to work with a Red Bull and like a Barocca. And like the ice baths and the sauna, like all of these young people, and they're creating community.
That wellness movement.
Yeah. And that is really cool, actually. Like I think there's concerns about how AI will impact connection. Social media, impacted connection in lots of ways. But I also think it's pushing people towards going, okay, well, if I don't have to work so much, which I think the younger generation are realizing, we don't need to, you don't have to do the same path that everyone else might be doing. We can do things differently, and that involves looking after ourselves. That involves creating community. And so it's bringing that community back, and that community point is going to be huge in the future. So any business that can bring community together is actually going to excel over other businesses, because that's going to be something that people will feel like they're missing with more and more technology. So we'll be craving it, and then we'll swing towards anything that's involving community in some way.
That's what I've found myself gravitating towards. Like, I do so much stuff on my own that, like, hey, if there is that event on, I'm happy to go, because I know I'm probably not going to have the opportunity around all the other things that I'm doing. But like, if it's like, okay, cool, I can go out and socialize with like X amount of people and I don't have to do 10 coffee catch-ups sometimes. Yes. I'm like, oh, that's also really productive in one way. Obviously, I make time for the people that, you want to.
But you can't with everyone.
Yeah.
And then everyone wants to pick your brain over coffee as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I want to do co-working. Like, I literally just want to sit at the cafe, have a nice coffee, like have a chat about a couple of things, but like not you.
Yeah, don't interrupt
me to do like your whole branding thing and everything. Yep. And it's interesting you say about the connection side, because I really do agree with that. When we were looking at all the businesses that we've run over the years, they've all been some form of entertainment, right? Like go-karts, drive-in, bowling alley we had for 12 years before this one we actually did. And then we had the rodeos, music festival. So they're all bringing people together. And to see the word of mouth, to see the marketing behind it, to see people bringing friends, like you can really see that community aspect does matter. And with the bowling alley, we saw that business work. Like, it stood the test of time. It has just kept running. It's been there since, I don't know, the 60s or 70s, the old one. Yep. It was really old. And, we could see that business consistently was just, no matter what happened, it was just making around the same amount of money. No marketing, no effort. Dad would just rock up at whatever time he wanted and close early. It was the worst run business ever. I'll get him on the podcast and we'll actually talk about that another time. But when we had this, one of our earlier businesses, SimWorld, it was like these racing car driving games on motion simulators. And the problem with that was that PS4, Xbox came out. And so everyone, it's like video killed the radio style. Everyone was like comfort of their home, happy to just play games there. And then with the bowling alley, somehow, because kids are all antisocial, they've got anxiety and depression and, on the spectrum of some sort, and, everyone's got mental health issues. Like, the bowling alley is still the one place where everyone can just disconnect away from that for a moment, and just actually enjoy being present. You're not on your phone, you're throwing a thing, and it was just like something about that
it's a game.
Business. Yeah,
and connecting with the other people that you're with.
And, I definitely think it is useful and helpful to know who your target market is and your ideal client, but the bowling alley actually works for everyone. Grandparents, children, families, friends, and that is actually one of the best things because it creates connection, and people come here for connection. They come to our marketing for a laugh. Building that community is paramount to businesses surviving long term, because I look at the other businesses who don't. You don't have, if you've got a restaurant and you don't give your customers that sense of community or belonging or the attention and time they deserve, they're not going to come back.
No, exactly. It's like I see it in fitness industry. I think that's one of the industries that's going to be impacted a lot with AI and technology. And the ones that are going to survive are creating community, creating connection. So you literally just want to go. You're not even going for the workout. You're going because you want to catch up with people. And people go to beauticians, hairdressers. Like, you go to your hairdresser because you want to have a chat.
Yeah.
She knows all the goss. She knows everything. And it would be the same in the beauty industry, right? Where I go and get my Botox. She knows my life.
Yeah.
She knows everything.
Yeah.
God forbid. I'm like, is there anyone listening? But, though that connection, not just to that human, but then there's so many different ways you can create that connection with other humans involved in your business and with the community. Like, we've got in my suburb, which is Padbury, there's a group of dads that have created this group called Dadbury. And it's so cute. Like, they're all like these middle-aged men, and they get together, and they get together with the coffee shop Alex Jr., which has been rated like the best coffee shop in Perth.
Oh.
in Perth, but it's in Padbury. And it's great marketing for Alex Jr. because Padbury's like a volunteer thing. They're actually doing like a dad bod car wash in a couple of weeks.
Oh.
It's so and Speedo is going to be so good. But like that's great marketing for Alex Jr. for the cafe.
Yeah.
So we've just had another cafe open and it's like competition, man. This coffee at the other place is really good. So Alex Jr. is like, what can I do to like get myself out there? Community, right? So they're giving free coffee to anyone who does a car wash on that day. But obviously they'll be taking a cut of how much you're paying for that car wash, and you're coming along to get some dad bods rubbing across your Hilux. Like, woo!
I feel like the whole thing is when you've got two different businesses and they're competing right next to each other, like let's say there's two beauty salons or two skin clinics, if you don't have standout branding, I think that is also a huge part of it. Like if you're just doing the same offers, same marketing, similar pricing, like maybe you're trying to undercut, then like, people will go for cheaper because why would they pay more for the exact same thing? Yep. But if your brand's different, if your community of your brand is different, like I've started working with clients to now implement events into their business, which feels like, oh, I'm beauty though. Why would I do an event? It's like, well, because you want to bring those people together.
Yeah.
And because if you host an event where, let's say, everyone's struggling with menopause and you bring in an expert to talk about that, or they're struggling with gut health and you've got that expert in there and you do some sound healing or yoga or whatever the latest thing is that people want, then they go, wow, she went to the effort of that. Like, I'm part of this. I want to stay for this. I look forward to this. And that's what I really loved with the whole, business retreat side of things. It's like bringing those people together, creating that community because, you just get lonely. I know you and Kim have done some epic business retreats and like the feedback from that has been awesome.
Yeah, well, and I will say they haven't even been retreats. They've just been like
co-working hangouts.
It's been connection. So it's, cost price, but we get essentially paid in the fact that we're going for free.
Yeah.
But then we're just facilitating some co-working and connections while we're there. And that way, like, you get that connection away from your usual hustle as well, which, it's super fun doing things like that. And, we do things while we're there that aren't what we would usually do in business, but it creates more conversations, it creates inspiration, and, it's a heap of fun.
So do you think it's now more important than ever to show your face and to be you?
Yes.
Do you think it's also equally as important to look at creating content off social media?
So content off social media, like you mean other
like podcasting?
Podcasting. It's interesting, right? How we draw the line of social media, just because of the social media ban that's coming in, and it's like YouTube, and I'm like,
no,
is that social media? I don't quite. Anyway, so then I don't know where the line of social media is. I think that omnipresence, so being on multiple platforms is really important, and yes, being off social media. So you need to have things that aren't associated just with a social media account for so many reasons. First, because then you're everywhere, but second of all, you don't own social media. You can get hacked. You can lose it. And if you're creating content and AI exists, why would you not repurpose it in every single way possible?
Yeah.
So having a podcast, awesome. Obviously it takes time and energy. Not everyone's going to have time for something like that. But being across, like, Reels can go onto YouTube Shorts. I need to take that note myself and actually do that because I've been talking about it. And I could just create an automation for it. But anyway, thank you. You heard it here first, folks. I need to commit to that. Bringing things across to a blog, like a beauty blog, can actually help you to be elevated when it comes to searching for people searching for you, because you've got more chance of people searching for a certain term. ChatGPT is now recommending places as well, so if you've got good SEO on your website, you're more likely to show up on ChatGPT. I'm this morning messaging ChatGPT about all my health things. I'm looking for a naturopath. ChatGPT helps me find a naturopath.
Yeah.
So those kinds of content off traditional social – did I say traditional social media? It's like traditional social media. It makes it sound like it's been around forever. It has not. But it didn't exist when I was in school, so.
Yeah. So what's going to happen to business owners who don't adapt to AI? Because we've actually seen this with people who didn't adapt to social media.
And what happened to them?
Don't know.
Well, exactly.
They don't exist anymore.
Where are they? I like to refer to Kodak Do you know Kodak, or are you too young to know Kodak?
I know Kodak Black. He's a rapper.
Okay. My gosh,
Kodak film cameras. I know.
So
I'm just
Kodak
pulling your leg.
refused to go digital. They did actually create the very first digital camera, and then they went, "No, that's not us. That's not on brand for us." They probably didn't say it's not on brand for us because that wasn't the way we spoke back then. But
that is not aligned with the mission of the company.
Yep, something like that. An old white man would have said that. And they didn't, and then they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
Now, they tried to make a comeback, but anyway.
Same with BlackBerry.
Gone.
Got too complacent. Apple came in. Apple was worse than BlackBerry, but then it got significantly better. And why would people want a computer on a phone? That's all they want.
Right, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
And so that I say to people, don't have a Kodak moment, because that was one of their things. Their slogans was have a Kodak moment. And I'm like, don't have a Kodak moment, because they fucked that up. I think you've probably got fear. If you're not doing it, it's probably out of fear.
Yeah.
And I will say that the fears that people have around AI are valid. Like, there are things that are scary as hell. I know too much, and I am afraid of certain things, but it's happening anyway. And the best you can do is use it so that as it's happening, you can benefit from it, but also potentially prevent the things that might happen from happening. Because the only way we change something is if we're in it to change it.
Yeah.
Right? If you just bury your head in the sand, go hide out bush and hope for the best and never come out, what's your life going to be like? Well, your business won't exist if you've gone and hid out bush and you're not actually running your business. So the reality is you kind of have to get on board, because otherwise your business likely won't exist in the future, because you don't even know the technology that's coming. Like humanoid robots exist now. They can do a lot. Not so great. They're pretty slow. They're a bit weird, but they exist. And in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, Musk has predicted that we will have 10 billion humanoid robots on Earth.
Where are you meant to store them? That's like more human. Like,
well, a lot of them will be working like industrial like stuff that humans do, but we'll all have one in our own homes, and we'll be like, hey, I'm going to call mine Gary.
Gaza.
Gary, can you please go down to the shops and buy this? Can you drive my kids to this place? Or the car will just drive itself. 15 years from now, that's not very long.
No.
It's not very far away. And 10
we'll go
billion,
to like Silicon Valley. Like, they've already got half
they're already, well, you can buy them now in America.
Yeah.
We will be able to get humanoid robots in Australia by 2027. I want to be one of the first people in WA to get one, and I will pay it off.
How much do you reckon they're going to cost?
They are, I know the exact price. It's about $20,000. But it'll be a business expense because it'll be working for me, and I will be charging people to come and see it and ask it to do something, and then they pay, and that will pay it off.
Yeah, right. Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Always the manager in with the ideas. I'm like, I will be, because I know what's going to happen in Perth. People are going to be like, no, I don't want to, like, it'll be another 10 years. We won't have the 10 billion here. They'll be like over in Sydney. But yeah, I'm absolutely want to get amongst it. Kim is very afraid. She's like, don't you let that humanoid robot near me.
I feel like we are going through the exact same cycle or pattern that we were 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by this is like when you study history and you look at the roaring 20s, industrial revolution, all these new things came in. Okay, here we've got factories to build out cars and machines, and that took over all of the people that were doing that, but we've still somehow managed to adapt and overcome, and this is our life. It's one of those things where it's like, how many people are going to lose their jobs? What's everything going to look like? But then at the same time, you're like, it will just correct itself in the way it's meant to. There'll either be new jobs or there'll be different opportunities. And if you look at social media, when that first came, it's like, what is this? But now it's like influencers, UGC, social media marketing, like none of those jobs and things exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this weird paradox of now is the easiest time to start a business, but it's also one of the hardest because there's so much more shit you got to do.
Yes.
Like, yes, it's easy to start, but to stay long term, like, even just marketing, you're like, oh, yeah, I'll have a social media, but then it's like, oh, a website, then SEO, and then AI SEO, and it's just
and then the consistency of it all too. I think consistency is one of the biggest issues for small business.
Yeah.
But AI can help with this, right?
Yes.
And I think you're right. It is like the Industrial Revolution, but it's a lot faster. So what we saw with the Industrial Revolution was that it happened over decades. This is happening over a couple of years.
Yeah.
So there in 4 years has been more change in technology than 100 years. And it gives everyone whiplash because if you've kind of been ignoring it, which people for the first couple of years did, we're now at the point where people are not ignoring it because they can't. But it's now like, oh, am I behind? And we will get behind really quickly if we're not considering at least what we should be doing in our business and in our lives to use AI to make our lives better. And also the discussions that we should be having, like discussions with our kids about it. Like AI porn is now a thing.
Really?
And that's hugely concerning. Like, so those the conversations that have to be had because you can't bury your head in the sand. Like, it's happening anyway. Yeah. Well, that could be like a whole other episode.
I've actually got some listener questions. Jade from Labby Lash, so she has a lash supplies company. She has all these different products and she uses ChatGPT and Sora so much, like across different things, like to help just like visualize things, bring, you know, packaging designs to life, which I think is epic.
Cool.
She had a few questions.
Yes.
So the first one is, how do you prompt ChatGPT to produce accurate answers with facts and evidence that can be cross-checked? Because, you know, I might put, who's MG? And it says, MG is a circus clown who has been gardening for the last 10 years.
I can juggle.
And then you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's not what she does, but okay.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad that this question's been asked because AI does hallucinate. So it makes stuff up because it's wanting to just get your output. It's you're giving it a question, it wants to give you an output. So a couple of things. First thing, if you're wanting a relatively quick answer, just make sure you flick on web search.
Yeah.
So at the bottom where you're typing, there's a little plus button, and if you just plus that and do web search, at the beginning of your prompt, just say search the web for facts on da-da-da-da. And then if you're wanting to then create that into social media content, use that same thread. Obviously, still go and check because it's looking for facts on the internet. And not everything on the internet is true. Sometimes it's...
Especially if it's coming from the news.
Right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, yes, definitely. So you still want to go and check. And that would be the same if you were doing the research yourself. You still need to go and check those facts. So that's a quicker way. The way I do things is I actually use deep research, which is longer, but it gets a better result, not necessarily in terms of it being factually correct, but being relative to the purpose of what I'm wanting to create. So I drop into deep research, same way that I just described before, but instead of going web search, click deep research.
Yeah.
Tell it what you're wanting to search for. Tell it why, like are you wanting to create a piece of content about it or are you wanting to create a flyer for a patient, whatever it may be. And then deep research will usually come back and ask you a couple of questions to clarify. So it's like an actual researcher that goes, okay, cool, this is what you want to know. Tell me these 3 things. You reply with that, you walk away or you go and do something else because it'll take about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it goes and does all of that research and it comes back. And that is how I get most of my accurate information and up-to-date information about AI. If you don't do that, ChatGPT, because it's based on data online, but unless it's connected to the web search or deep research, it's not looking at the most recent data. It's just looking at all the data. So that's where, and things change, especially in the beauty industry. There's new research all the time for all the things.
Yeah.
So I use those because I know that I'm going to get the most up-to-date information, and obviously that's crucial with AI because it could have changed yesterday.
I love this answer. I'll definitely give it a go myself as well to see like the difference, putting it in the deep research mode versus the web.
And then you can daisy chain. Do you know how to daisy chain?
Nah.
You got a content like writer for you, your GPT?
Yeah.
Yeah. So deep research.
Is that when you tag another one?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. No,
daisy
I know.
chaining.
I didn't know that was what it's called. I just go tagging my other GPTs.
Yeah. Well, it is like tagging because that's what you do on Instagram is you do @ symbol and write their name and they pop up. It's
now I want you to do this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do find that's very helpful as well. Instead of like having 5 different threads, it's like start here with the research, then move into content, then move into that.
Yeah.
Love it. Another question she's got is, I've prompted my ChatGPT to know my brand, understand my personality, how I talk and all of those things, but it's still hitting the exact same formatting as everyone else. How do I not make it sound the exact same as everyone else and not just follow the exact same style, messaging? Like she's really, when I was talking to her about this, I remember she said like, you can just see it. Like, let's be real.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't start your business to this. You started it because. And it's actually made me go from like a coaching perspective before ChatGPT came out. I really honed in on copywriting.
Yep.
And now I go, you know what? It's actually probably better for me to really hone back in on that copywriting. Yes, it can help build out things and save a lot of time, but I think it's just like people who can do graphic design versus those who use Canva. Like if you've got that edge, you will stand out.
And I think it is actually still really important for business owners to understand copywriting. Yes, use AI, but if you don't understand what a good output looks like, you're going to get a shit output or you're not going to know how to edit it. So I'll give you a strategy that you can use anytime it does this that will help you to retrain your ChatGPT. It's called mirroring back. So what you're going to do with that piece of content that it creates that's going the know this, know that, and then the X versus Y thing, like that, it's a classic ChatGPT thing at the moment.
Yeah.
So I could give you an instruction, but the problem is in 6 months' time, the way ChatGPT writes is going to be different anyway because it's going to start changing. And so what you need to do is learn how to mirror back your work. And what that means is take what it's written that you don't like, rewrite that. So put it into a document and rewrite it.
Yeah.
And then copy both of those back into ChatGPT. So you give it the one that it wrote and the one that you've edited to be like, this is how you wrote it. This is how I would write that. Look at these two passages, compare them, what's different, and write instructions that I can give back to you to make you write like me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're getting it to look at both, compare them, and then not just compare them, but actually say, okay, well, the difference is this. Therefore, you need to tell me to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And so I've created a set of instructions that for me, it says like, don't do it's not this, it's this structure. And don't do they've got those short sentences right now that's like, no this, no fluff, no blah. And it's just like 2 sentence words. And every time you're like, stop. Like just, can we have a sentence that's got at least 6 words in it, please?
Yeah.
So then it rewrites the instructions. You then give that back into the instructions of, it sounds like she's using a prompt. Start using custom GPTs and put that into your instructions of your custom GPTs and it will do it better. It's also still not going to do it perfectly.
Yeah.
So I think we have been misled through a lot of marketing that AI is going to be a complete 100% replacement of you, and it is not. I look at it 80-20, 10% of you at the beginning needs to give it a good prompt.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it's shit. Then it does 80% of the work. 10% at the end is you reading through it, every single word, read it out loud. Because if you read it out loud and then you're like, ugh, like that doesn't, like I
Gave me the ick.
talk like that. That tells you to change it. And that's also when I remove the M dashes. Because if you're wondering how to get rid of the M dashes on ChatGPT, please message me when you figure that out.
I did. So I found out. So in my programming.
And did it actually work?
Yeah, it actually has. So I put it into, funnily enough, I'm in this Go High Level group with this amazing chick. Her name's Christine, and she put it up and she said, this prompt seems to be working from keeping the M dashes away in ChatGPT. Try it and let me know if it worked for you. So anyways, I tried it and it said, from this point forward, do not use M dashes, and then in the brackets put an M dash as well in your responses. If you need to indicate a pause or break in a sentence, use a comma, semicolon or parenthesis instead.
Yep.
Replace any potential M dash with another appropriate punctuation mark. Maintain clarity, readability, and natural flow in all writing. And it's
working. Okay, cool. I have a very similar, like there's, the thing is, what I've got is very similar in my instructions and it works like 50% of the time.
Oh.
So
maybe you need to mirror it.
Well, I have. You have no, because this is like one of the things that so many people come to me for. So I'm going to have to steal that off you and see how it works, because sometimes it can be just a really small thing. One of the things that I took out that's different is at the beginning of that it says not to use M dashes. I actually found not saying not to use them worked better, because it's like the elephant in the room. You say, don't think about the elephant in the room, it thinks about it. So instead, I would say, like the second part of that is, if you're wanting to blah, 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 use these, and gave it the options to use rather than not to use. That was the best version I got. How long have you been using that?
Probably like the last 2 weeks.
Okay, and it's been, okay, right, I need to copy paste and see.
So I put it into my custom GPTs and I've been using it mainly for like email marketing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just found it and I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a go, and it's been fine for now.
Okay, cool. Good.
The only ones that's not working on are the threads in my big brain dump that I forget to put it into. But if you put it into a custom GPT, it's a lot better than just putting it in a thread.
Well, you could also, if it's working, put it into your overall customization. So inside customization, there's like a section you can put – they changed the words of it, but there's 2 parts where you can – there's like an instructions and then maybe more info about me.
Yeah.
There's 2 little parts where you can put overall instructions that you want to have in there, and that could go in there.
I love this. Now, another thing, and I'm sure this is like a big ethical concern for so many people using it, is like if you're, I don't know, a business owner, if you've got a company, if you've got IP or sensitive information and you're putting it into there, like can other people access that? And is this also something that, you know, if I'm putting in my market research, my branding, my designs and stuff, getting it to help, could that actually come back and bite me?
In the sense of just general other people accessing it, no. So there was recently shared virally that everyone's threads were going public and people were panicking. Now, the only way that happened was if someone finished a conversation with ChatGPT and they clicked share and then they clicked make this public, and then if you hovered over the little question mark, it said, this will make this available on Google. Like if you clicked that button and you didn't think it was going to go on Google, what were you doing?
Yeah.
So that there, they ended up getting rid of that button so that it couldn't happen anyway.
Yeah.
But that was when people started freaking out about that. Obviously, anytime you're putting data into an open source AI, which is what ChatGPT is, they're accessing that data.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't say anytime. You can go into your settings and you can actually turn that off so that they're not using your data to train. And I do recommend a lot of people do that. I personally don't do it because I don't use any of my client data. I don't use any sensitive data. And I like for ChatGPT to use my content to train because the way we use ChatGPT will dictate how it's used in future. So for me, I'm really polite with AI in case the Terminator comes. And I said please and thank you. And so for me, I want AI to take my voice and make it part of what the future is. So I keep it there. But if you're in, legal, finance, medical, all that kind of thing, there's going to be things to consider as well. Obviously, our listeners, if, depending on what beauty business you've got, if you do have client data, you want to not put that in there. Blank it out in some way, shape or form because...
Yeah, you don't want their birthday, the thing, if it's in a document, like screenshot just the part you want out or copy and paste the information and just say client.
And ChatGPT, OpenAI, will tell you that they have all the measures in place, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is that AI is getting really crazy smart and therefore hackers using AI are also getting really crazy smart. Yeah. So you just want to protect yourself and your clients and think anytime you're using it, like, is there something in here that could harm myself or my clients? And I wouldn't be so worried about sharing your marketing stuff in there. Like that's, your IP. If you want to switch it off so that it can't be used to train, you can do that in your settings. But otherwise, it should be fine.
Yeah, I think in a creative business when you're mapping out, campaigns or launches or drops months in advance, you wouldn't want, your competitor to be and go, hey, what is Beauty Industry Leaders doing?
And then I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Yes. I will say though, if you create custom GPTs to share, which I don't know if you've done this, but this is something that you can do is like a value add is create a custom GPT with knowledge that you can then share and people can interact with. If you don't have an instruction inside your custom GPT to say, don't share what's inside the knowledge base and the instructions, people can ask your GPT what's in your knowledge base and instructions and take all of that.
Yeah.
So there needs to be, you do have to have instructions in there to say, like, if someone asks for the information inside here, tell them to fuck off.
So good. With ChatGPT 5, I've noticed it started lagging a lot more. It's not as fast as it used to be. Is it because it's more in depth and it's taking more time to research, or what is this?
It's really simple.
What?
You've got it on auto. You just need to change it to instant.
Okay.
So top left-hand corner, there's a little drop-down box. And if it's lagging, it's just because it's chosen a slower model based on your question.
Okay.
Because now it automatically decides, like based on your question, I need to think for longer or whatever. And everyone's like, it's so slow. And I'm like, no, you just need to just change it into, if you're wanting an instant response, just change it into instant in the top left-hand corner.
Perfect.
Super simple.
Love it. Okay, going to do that one when I get home. And how do you promote your brand on ChatGPT so that you're starting to show up in that AI SEO?
I haven't even tried, but it's working, so that's great. It really is just SEO, but it's SEO outside of, it's not just on your website. I mean, that's the same with Google now. It's Instagram, it's
PR?
LinkedIn, PR, like anywhere online. If you're showing up, then you're more likely to show up on ChatGPT. My ChatGPT show up rate is better than SEO at this point, but I think it may be because of the topic as well. So the only change that I think people are needing to consider is that the way people interact with ChatGPT, like the sentence we type in, is different to Google.
Yeah.
So in Google, you're writing, 3 keywords like Botox injections at Adele or something, like you're putting in three words. In ChatGPT, you're asking like full questions.
Like, where do I go for the best Botox in this location?
Right. And so those are the questions that you actually then need to put in your content and in your blog headings and all those kinds of things. So it just changes slightly the way that your keywords work. And I haven't done a huge deep rabbit hole. I guess I've been lucky in the sense that what I'm doing is just clearly working. But that is definitely one of the main changes in the way that users are using a search now, is that it is slightly different in the words that we use with ChatGPT.
So it's like really making sure that you're not just solely relying on like telling ChatGPT, hey, I'm the best business coach, or hey, I'm the best podcast. It's like you've got that other layer of social proof through your website, through PR articles, through other people that you've interacted and engaged in on the internet.
Google reviews will be a big one for beauty as well.
Oh.
Making sure, so
not Fresher or anything like that. The actual like Google.
Possibly Fresher.
Because I tell them like,
do you need to log into Fresher to see the reviews? I feel like you do.
No, they are still public. I think when I look at the series of events that just keeps happening in the beauty industry with people changing platforms and everything, I say do not bother getting reviews on your platform. Get it on Google because it's going to serve you so much more than your booking software. Because if you move booking software, you lose it all. Yes. You don't get to integrate it over.
Yeah. That is absolutely true. Obviously get all the screenshots that you can, but it's not the same. Google reviews are huge and they help a lot with your SEO, so therefore they also help. And it depends on the language people are using. You can't really control the language that people use, but like ideally if they're writing stuff that is going to be what other people are searching for, then that's super helpful. So if you've got, clients that are friends and you can kind of
keywords,
tell
make
them,
sure you use the keywords.
Yeah, here's my list of
and
words.
Location.
And here's a ChatGPT prompt to help you write your testimonial for us to put on Google.
I wonder if Google reviews will get to a point where they're like, no, you can't put this up because this was written with AI.
Okay, so that's interesting because I have written things completely non-AI, put them into an AI reader and it says it's 80% AI.
Yeah. But do you think that's also because you've been using AI a lot that maybe your language and the way you speak is a lot more?
Or the other way around.
Yeah.
AI just sounds more and more like us. So it's like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, like in university and right now, like when I went to uni, oh my God, we were literally in the library with like textbooks. Fucking hell.
Back problems from the textbooks too.
That's when I had to start singing Cairo when I was 19 because holy moly, like my back. Anyway, that's a different rabbit hole. But yeah, that now referencing, it's going to be very different.
Yeah. So let's zoom out. What do you think the greater impact of AI is going to be on business, jobs, education and lifestyle within like the next 3 to 5 years? Because I know we definitely cannot predict 10 to 20. It's just changing so fast.
I think, 10 to 20 years is almost not fathomable. But in the next 3 to 5 years, I do think it's going to get messy. I think there's going to be a lot of job displacement. Well, there already is.
Yeah.
There's already job displacement.
Yeah, the banks are getting laid off like next level.
Yeah, huge amounts of that. And it's going to impact how we live and how we work, because if we can work less, how does that work for people that get paid hourly? There's lots of talk about universal basic income and then what's the impact of that and government control. I also think that there's going to be some messy things that happen around power in the world, because I don't think that our governments have the power. I think the owners of these large language models are the ones that have the power. Yeah, like all of these guys in Silicon Valley have so much more power than, like, everyone's worried about Trump. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But like, who controls Trump? Honestly, I don't think that he's the concern. That, again, is a whole nother rabbit hole. But
it's like crypto, like even looking at how that's evolved so much. And, you know, in China, they've got facial recognition. So if you jaywalk, it can use your face, scan it with AI, and then deduct the money straight out of your bank account.
Yes. And so that, like, we're becoming more and more controlled, right? Like, the social media ban is meant to be coming in. I think it's going to fall on its ass. But there's more and more control, and then people are going to revolt. I honestly think the next 5 years there's going to be some shit that's going to happen. It's going to be a shitstorm, probably 5 to 10 years, particularly Perth. Like, we're a bit behind, so it'll take a bit of time. I think a lot of industries are going to change. They're already changing in a lot of good ways, though. So medicine, for example, I have the last few years had a skin scan, an AI skin scan for my moles. And what that does is it means that instead of a doctor looking and hoping that after seeing thousands of patients in 12 months going, oh, I think that's changed, there is an AI skin scan that looks at every single little mark on my body and goes, oh, yeah, that's moved from last year. So things like that should make medicine better, and we have huge issues in the medical industry. There's so many issues at hospitals, so many issues with doctors, nurses being overworked, and so I think there's great possibility there if they get on board quick enough. Education, I think, is going to change massively. I don't even know if I'm going to be sending my kids to high school because I kind of don't see the point personally, and my eldest will be starting high school in just over a year because schools aren't adapting fast enough, but AI can do so much schooling. And there's going to be a lot of people go, oh, my God, there's no way I'm going to let a robot teach my child. I'm like, well, what if your child can get all of their work done in 2 hours and then go and live their life?
Well, I look at, like, some of the people I went to school with who were teachers, and I'm like, they're going and doing drugs on the weekend and getting fucked up, and then they're going and teaching the next generation. And I'm like, like, you know, there's a lot of stuff you don't see behind the scenes, and you think, oh, teachers are all good, and but then they've got their own political beliefs and their own agendas and things that they're pushing without you realizing. So, and
the thing is, AI can too. So AI is created by white guys in Silicon Valley. So therefore, there is definitely bias in AI, but I think it's less than a lot of humans. I've got a friend of mine going through a separation at the moment, and she's using AI for therapy, and she's seen therapists over the years, and she's like, this is the best therapist I've ever had, because it just listens. Like it's free, available anytime. It's not. I've seen therapists over the years as well, and you resonate differently with different therapists, or you don't resonate with them at all, and it's because they are human. And to be honest, probably people that study psychology are usually the ones that are fucked up psychologically.
100% agree with that one.
Like, I'm not, if you've studied psychology, I'm sorry, not sorry, but it's probably the truth.
But there's always like that element of like wanting to understand why or how does it work because something's happened. And I think it's the same like doing NLP and all of that. You kind of want to know like, oh, how does the brain work? And I had this and
Because I have trauma.
Yeah.
I went and studied NLP because I wanted it for my clients. I didn't study it for myself, and then I went, oh.
Yeah. I think that's everyone.
I'm supposed to be here. Yeah, okay.
Did you ever do like the spiral dynamics?
Yes.
That is a huge thing that I start to see a lot more of. I'm like, oh, you're a red, you're a blue, you're a green. And I think like even if you look at society, we were probably all orange and now we're kind of shifting to green because we want that community and connectedness.
Yes.
But then people in the blue section, they're not trusting corporations. They're not trusting. And if they are, it's because they're too scared to think about anything else. So they're doing it more out of fear than like an active choice of this is where I want to be.
Yeah, it is. I think it's very powerful. And you're like talking colours, people are like, what colours do I want? Am I blue? Am I green?
Look it up. Spiral dynamics, NLP. Yeah.
It's useful to understand other people's perspectives. And on this note, since we're going there, that is something that I'm finding really jarring about the way AI and algorithms are working right now, is that it's making everyone seem like they're like really far polar opposites. But actually we're quite the same in so many different ways. And that's something that I think is going to get worse before it gets better politically.
Yeah.
Because there's this left versus right mentality. Whereas I believe and obviously what I believe is right. My thoughts are that there's like 1% of people on either end of the spectrum that are extremists who hurt people hurting people, and they have certain thoughts. 99% of people are actually in the middle. We all want the same thing. We all want freedom. We all want health. We all want the best for our children. We all want the same thing. We just maybe have different pathways of wanting to get there, but we actually, if we think about it, we all want the same thing. And
then you got those extremists who are like really putting it out there, and it's like just because you don't agree with them and you're not declaring, as strong as they are, then apparently you're the bad guy now.
Yes.
It's like, what?
And it's like if someone doesn't believe every single thing that you say, therefore they're the bad guy. And it's just pitting each other because it creates cliques.
Yeah.
Right. And that, that really ramped up during COVID, and now it's just moved on to other topics of conversation. And I think we're going to need in the next 5 years to get better control of these companies that have all of the control of the algorithm that's creating more of that extremism.
Yeah.
Because that will be a huge part of the problem too. But the only way to do that is to have those conversations.
It's quite interesting because you look at the government and you look at – and the other thing that I've started to realise, especially post-COVID, is that so many people are seeking freedom. It was never a buzzword. Like it wasn't nowhere near as popular as it is now. Like people want to be free to choose what they want to do with their day. They want to be free financially. They want a freedom and flexibility. Like it's just changed so much because of those experiences.
Yes. And I think we're going to lose our freedom a bit in the next 5 to 10 years, but then it will swing. And I reckon, it's hard to go through those times. Like we went through COVID, that was hard times to get through wherever you were on the spectrum of your opinion about it. But we will get through this next lot of hard times, and I honestly think we're all going to be better off for it. But to get through this period –
you got to kind of draw back before you can.
Yeah, you do. To get through this period, you're going to have to ride the wave in lots of different ways, not just in business but in life, and just trust that it will come out the other side because it always does. Like humanity's been through so many different waves, and I think there is potential in 10 years' time for us to have like the most amazing human lives, and I'm excited to be alive through it, even if it's going to be hard.
I love this. So what I'm going to do is work towards wrapping up the episode because I know we can talk forever, and I'm like, if I don't say this and I don't cue us, we're probably going to keep talking for another hour. I want to ask you 3 really deep questions to wrap up instead of doing like a rapid fire round. So try not rabbit hole too much.
Okay, oh my gosh.
But just hit me with the first thing that comes to mind. So the first question I have for you is, what do you wish more women in business truly believed about themselves?
That they don't have to do everything, because you don't. And I grew up with that independence, which meant that I was like, I have to do everything. And I scaled so much more slowly than what I could have if I had have gone, I don't need to do everything. And in this year having an EA, she's literally like, I don't do my calendar or my inbox. I have AI to help with some of that stuff too, but letting other people help is huge. We don't need to wear all the hats.
I think that's really valuable advice and probably a really great reminder for everyone listening to this right now. Being the mum, being the business owner, doing that, like fucking so many expectations. Just like, what are you good at? Like, are there maybe some toxic things you need to improve? Yeah, probably. Like, as long as you're aware and you're working on them, but like you don't have to try to do everything all at once as well. You can kind of like plan to focus on different areas. And once you nailed that, move on to the next thing as well.
Yep, 100%.
Like that is the ADHD thing I find with, it's like, I could do good marketing, this, launch this, hire the team all at once. But it's like maybe just do the one thing and then figure it out. My second question is, if everything you've built was wiped out tomorrow, your audience, your offers, your automations, where would you start? What would you do first?
Cry. Have a tantrum. What would I do first? You know what I would do? I would go and do breath work, because I know that if that was to happen, I would energetically feel like I need to release some shit. But I think the point of your question is more like, if you were to start again.
No, like what would you do first? What would be the initial thing? If you lost everything, what do you do? You know, is it for you, by the way you answered that question, you would put yourself first.
Yes.
You wouldn't throw yourself into...
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Because you cannot make a decision from a state of panic. You cannot make a decision from a state of panic. So if I had nothing, I would start with myself and really tune into what's aligned with me.
Yeah.
Because you can't follow someone else's path. Their path is not your path. And I would also create space. So after breathwork, I would go somewhere away from my usual space that I might be in, and I would give myself time to think and ask the question, what is it that I really want? Do you know who Gay Hendricks is?
Yes.
Yes. So I interviewed him on my podcast a couple of years ago. During COVID, he was like free for all. It was awesome. It was like 5 a.m. in the morning and my 2-year-old came up and knocked on the door. I was like, what are you doing? Anyway, he shared with me what they do at the Hendricks Institute with their corporates that come in for a day.
Yep.
He's like, this is the $27,000 question. And and they put them in a room on their own for an hour at the beginning of the day with one question, and they're only allowed to answer that question over and over and over and over again for that hour. What do I really want? And that's all they're allowed to answer. They're not allowed to answer any other questions. They're just going to keep answering it over and over again. And if it might change, it might stay the same, whatever it is. So that's what I would do. I'd go to the Hendricks Institute and pay $27,000. No, I wouldn't. I'd just do it myself. And if I decided that I wanted to build similar to what I'm building now, I would start with building an audience, because what I do right now is one-to-many. So if I was opening up a beauty salon, for example, I probably wouldn't be building the audience first, because it's not one-to-many, it's one-to-one. What I do is one-to-many. I need volume. I need lots of people to be seen. I need eyeballs, basically. So I'd come up with an eyeballs strategy to get more and more eyeballs on my brand. If I was just doing some kind of one-on-one, or I shouldn't say just because it's still work, one-on-one consultation kind of work, then you can just hustle and find your first few clients. And it's taking that first step. I call it walking the streets. You're not actually walking the streets anymore, but like back in the day, you'd just hustle for that first bit. You'd go knock on doors and be like, hey, like I'm mowing lawns. Do you want me to mow your lawns? It's $10. And someone will say yes, and then they'll tell their friend. So you just start with that first step of walking the streets. So yeah, for me, with what I do now, it would be like I need to build an audience. I would really focus on that. I see too many people launch courses without audiences. You need volume for courses. If you don't have eyeballs on your stuff, you're not making sales. But if I was going down another route, it would be walking the streets, mowing lawns.
Yeah. Love it.
Not actually mowing lawns. I don't even know how to turn on a lawnmower, but...
You'll find out. I think you've just secretly manifested it.
ChatGPT could tell me how to do it. I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. And then the last final question is, what legacy are you building? Not just in your business, but in the lives of the women you work with and the little humans you're raising.
Oh, that's a good one. The legacy that I want to leave is about curiosity. I ended up doing what I'm doing now out of curiosity, constant curiosity, and it's led to an interesting life and an enjoyable life. And I think all of us want happiness. I want my girls to have happiness in their life, and so I'm always leading with curiosity with them. If they ask me a question, I ask them a question back. Like I don't answer the question for them. And it's the same with what I teach with women. It's like, okay, how can we get curious about what you could be doing differently and what that might look like? Because I'm not just going to give you a roadmap. That doesn't empower anyone. I want people it's going to be my living wake, because I want to know when I'm going to die. This is my control freak coming out. I want to know when I'm going to die. And then before I die, I'm having a living wake to be like, what fun did we have? Like, how did we live our most curious lives and just like go out and make the most of it? Because we won't go down this rabbit hole, but I don't actually know that what we're experiencing is real right now. I do somewhat believe we're in some kind of matrix. Now, there's anyone listening's like, all right, she's lost all her credibility. She's totally a complete Fruit Loop. But regardless, we're in this reality. And it would be so crap to be on your deathbed like, oh, gosh, I wish I just went and did that thing or did that thing. But instead, I was so filled with fear that I didn't take that curious path. So I want my girls to experience that. I want the women that I work with to experience that because they create more freedom, because they have more time, because they have more money, because they started their business for more freedom and then they didn't get it. So now they have AI and they can get curious about how they want to spend that time.
I think that's a really great legacy to leave. And it's a very expansive one.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful because, there are a lot of things to be scared and depressed and upset about. But on the other side of that, there's a lot of amazing things that if you are curious, you'll attract those opportunities.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I have loved spending, I don't even know how long we've been talking for, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
But I've really appreciated your time, all your knowledge, and I think anyone listening to this is probably going, all right, I need to figure out who this chick is. I need to follow her. I need to learn more. Where can my audience follow and connect with you?
Best place would be Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll put the handle.
What is your handle? Tell us the real one.
The real MG. But the thing is, people write MG like the letters, MG like the car, but it's EMGEE.
Okay.
So if you look for EMGEE, I should come up. Or if you think about OMG, like the way that we write the full, I suppose that still can just be the letters, right? So
how are you spelling it? I don't know.
Well, OHEMGEE. If you write like the
OMG.
Okay. OMG. Oh my god. I have had someone call me MG. I was like, ooh, okay.
I don't like that.
Interesting. But the real MG is the best place to find me on Instagram and connect with me. Send me a message, like any questions you have after this as well that follow on from what we've talked about. I'm happy to answer. My highest value is connection. I do have bots in my DMs, but I'm also in my DMs on a daily basis. Sammy and I were in DMs today.
Just send a voice note and then you'll get a voice note back and you'll know it's not a robot.
Yes. Well, no. There's no robot voice M at this stage.
We love that.
Yeah.
Maybe let's keep it that way.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you found value or loved this episode, please be sure to take a screenshot, share it with a friend, put it on your stories and tag us. We'd love to hear your feedback or whatever it is you've got questions about. We're happy to answer. I hope you have an amazing week and I will catch you for the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Audience exclusive.